Hello and good morning. So welcome to another Fife Property Market update. This is for the week commencing the 17th to the 23rd of August. So this is all of last week's figures, statistics and information. Now, if you are new to this show, then this is where we take a run through of everything that was happening in Fife last week alone. So we start by looking at the statistics of what every single estate agency that uses Rightmove instructed and sold. Then we do a run through of what we were doing in particular as an agency, so you can see what we have accepted offers on, what we have got coming soon, and also the properties that have completed, so you can see what offers have been negotiated because we can now disclose that value. Then we do a run through of the shows that have taken place, just so that you can go back and take some brilliant information and get some great insights. But as always, we will start with the last week's statistics. So this is where every agency across Fife, we are looking at what they have instructed and what is now sold subject to concluded missives. Now, this is resale homes only, so it's only the core market. It's not taking into account any of the new builds or any of their developments. But we will do a run through of that firstly. Now, as always with this show, if you are watching live, then great. Feel free to comment. If it's relevant, I will obviously come back to you and answer your question. And if you aren't able to watch this live and you are watching the rerun, then obviously, again, you can absolutely comment and we will come back to you. If you prefer something slightly more private, then feel free to message us directly and we can respond to your message. Or even if you just want to pick up the phone and have a wee chat with us, pick up the phone and you can speak with one of our agents in the office. But let's do a run through of what was happening on Rightmove last week. So you can see straight off the bat there that there was 131 properties instructed new to the market versus 127 properties sold. Now, last week, obviously, if you are regular to these shows, last week there was a slight difference in numbers. There was a lot more properties sold than what came to market. However, we do always say 1 week does not make a trend, so do bear that in mind. That is why actually next week's show will be a great one because I'm going to do a roundup for the month of August. So that gives you a better insight because that is a whole month's worth of data, because it is absolutely true. 1 week doesn't make a trend because there will be like common factors that will obviously impact that. But a month gives you a great snapshot. Another show that is a great one to watch is Perry does the house price index. So that's a great one to go back and really get some true figures from if you are thinking about selling or buying in Fife, or even if you're just genuinely curious into what is happening in the Fife property market, then these shows, along with the price indexing, is a great one to watch. But we will continue on with last week's numbers. So Cooper 12 versus 12, not very often that happens. And actually looking at this, it's not the only one, but 12 properties went to market versus 12 properties sold, which is a brilliant result. So it does just show you that Cooper market is still ticking through. Obviously, Cooper is a desirable area in terms of amenities, schooling, commuting links. It really does have everything on your doorstep. So it is the KY 14-15 area is a popular area. So it is great to see that those numbers. East Nuke 6 versus 6, again another one where it's even Stevens. It's great that there was 6 properties sold within the East Nuke. Obviously, just with the changing in legislation for Airbnb, the additional dwellings tax in terms of second home council tax, there was a lot of contributing factors that did mean a lot of stock hit the market within East Nuke. And the same can be said for St Andrews. So it is great to see that we are still seeing that stock selling through within the East Nuke. Likewise, there is still stock coming to market in the East Nuke, especially for ourselves. We've got a good few that hit the market last week. And actually, we're already negotiating offers on them, which is fantastic. And there is a couple more to come as well. But it is great to see for the East Nuke numbers. St Andrews, 8 properties instructed versus 6 properties sold. 6 is slightly less than what we have been seeing for St Andrews, but 1 week doesn't make a trend. It does give you obviously an insight, but this is nothing that we need to be concerned about. It's just 1 week where it is slightly less. The month that we do on Monday, when I do the monthly roundup, that'll give us a great insight into how St Andrews performed. And I'm actually going to compare that to the month prior as well, so we can then see 2 month statistics. Again, just like the East Nuke, there was a lot of stock that hit the market. The key with St Andrews at the minute is to be priced accordingly, patience, and also to have a strong marketing strategy. You need an aggressive, proactive agent that knows the market and knows how to get your property out there, get it seen, get people through the door, and then start negotiations. And that is the absolute key, because there is a lot of stock in St Andrews at the minute. Average selling time for St Andrews, you could be anything from 5 to 6 months. And I say that as an average. You obviously do get the anomalies that go quicker. We've had results that have sold in quicker, like 3 weeks, for example, on Spottiswoode. However, there is obviously ones that do also take slightly longer than that, because obviously naturally St Andrews is a slightly higher price point. So there is high price point properties in there that aren't within everybody's affordability range. However, St Andrews, if you are looking for perhaps a move in the new year, then now is the time that you need to be going to market if you are in St Andrews. And likewise for the other micro regions as well, you're better to get your ducks in a row and get yourself organised and get on the market, secure your buyer, and it does make next steps easier. If that is something you want to discuss in more detail, then reach out to us and we can obviously discuss what next steps look like for you. Levenmouth, 10 properties instructed versus 8 properties sold. That's nothing to be alarmed about, the fact that they aren't in line. There's only the difference of 2. As we say, Levenmouth, again, if you're regular to these shows, or even just keeping a keen eye on the KYA area, it is a popular area and it's still holding so strong for buying and selling. With obviously the investment that was put into the area last year, we are still seeing a strong impact on the housing market, because it's just opened up so more opportunities for people. So they naturally are being in the KYA area, where you've got all your amenities, you've got commuting links now, you've got the lifestyle of the beach, the Fife coastal path, the golf courses. So it is a desirable area. Dunfermline, 51 versus 62. That is obviously higher numbers. We always see higher numbers within the Dunfermline area, again, just because of the commuting links and the availability to your bigger cities like Edinburgh and Glasgow. Glenrothes, 13 versus 9. Slightly lower numbers for Glenrothes. Not normally numbers that we see as low as that. However, what I can say is that is the core market only, so resale homes. However, with new builds last week for Glenrothes, there was 4 new builds that were made available. So that does show you that perhaps that is where obviously people have been waiting for or have naturally flown towards. Then you've got Kirkcaldy, 31 versus 24. Kirkcaldy's had some really high numbers over the last couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see the monthly roundup, but 31 versus 24. Again, with Glenrothes and Kirkcaldy, it's actually basically from the middle of that, obviously, chart down is areas that people naturally go to because of commuting links. Everything on your doorstep, amenities, schooling, the lifestyle, the affordability, the style of properties that you can get. They naturally are popular areas with landlords, investors, first-time buyers, families, because there is a lot of availability at affordable prices while having everything on your doorstep. So that is last week's figures. Obviously, if you do have any questions on that, feel free to come back to us and we'll more than happy chat with you. But we will now do a run through of what we were doing in particular as an agency last week. So this is where we look at properties we have accepted offers on and properties that we have got coming soon. So where you need to keep a lookout for Perry and I's pre-portals, and then obviously what we have completed on, so you can see what offers have now been negotiated. Now they've gone through that conveyancing stage. So we will start with the properties that we accepted offers on. So the first one is a KWA property, of course. So this was in Leven. So this was a great result to get. Now this is on Orchard Lane. This was an immaculate 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom detached executive property. It was finished to an immaculate standard. Such a great family home, because you've got the off-street parking with the driveway, you've got the garage, landscape gardens, you can see the curb appeal that this property has. It's a sought after area, and then obviously you are close to you're just around the corner from the Canberra Bridge train station. You've got your local schooling, as I say, you've got the Fife coastal path, the beach, you've got the high street, you've got the retail park, you've got golf courses, you've got leisure facilities. It's such a desirable area for families, and it's absolutely beautiful family home. This was on the market for offers over 280,000. At this stage, we can't disclose what it went for, just because it's now going through the conveyancing stage. However, you continue to watch these shows, you will then see the offer that we negotiated on it. But that was on for offers over 280. Now, the next one is an absolutely fantastic result. Now, this property is in the East Nook. It was in Crail and it was Nethergate South. Now, this one was absolutely popular as soon as we hit the button and put this property live. And it was actually popular at pre-portal stage. So as soon as my video went up on social media, we were getting inquiries. We had high demand for this property, which then meant after a couple of viewings, we got offers. Now, there was people that missed out on this property, unfortunately, but it does just show you need to act fast. You need to act fast, get in contact, get that viewing secured, just so that you can obviously get properties like this. But people did miss out on it. So this one was absolutely immaculate. You can see from there, it's on a great plot size. You have all of this garden space and this space just here. This is a balcony just here. You can see the flume for the log burner, sunroom just here. There's all glass and glass along the front, and you can't just see it, but the walls slightly here actually curved down, so you got cracking views, panoramic views right across to Room Bay. You could see right across the first fourth. Like, it was absolutely stunning property, beautifully presented. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-reception, 2-bathroom, but there was the opportunity to make a 3rd bedroom if you wish. You've got balcony, you've got a lounge, kitchen, diner. There was a high standard contemporary brand new kitchen, log burner, spiral staircase. Like, it just ticked all the boxes, hence why it was so popular. It was on the market for offers over 550,000, and as you can see there, it sold in 1 week. As I say, we were inundated at pre-portal. I did a couple of viewings at the property. We actually got 2 offers on the property, but the offer that we did accept was absolutely incredible. So you do need to keep a lookout on the show so you can see when it has concluded, because the offer that was negotiated, absolutely incredible. The sellers are delighted that obviously, one, they got a result within 1 week. It is a higher price point, so you do have to kind of prepare your clients that it's not just your average property that we're selling. However, when they are finished to such a high standard, you get the marketing spot and you get the photography, you showcase the lifestyle. It does show you, when you emphasize a property and really showcase it, you can get an absolutely fantastic result. Sold in 1 week, offers over 550. But likewise, if you have a property similar to this and you are thinking of selling, we have active hot buyers that missed out on this property, and more people that were actually looking to view. But the offer that we accepted, the seller really could not refuse. They had to just jump at it because it was incredible. But if you do have a property like this, then please do reach out and speak with us, because we can then discuss your accurate valuation, the marketing that we would do to get your property sold, and we can reach out to these people and say that we have your property up and coming. So that is what we sold last week. So brilliant results. So now we will do a quick run through of properties that we have coming soon. Now, there is quite a few, so I'm just going to give you a run through. If you would like to get further details, you can message, you can comment on this post, or you can just pick up the phone. Now, the first one is Orchard House, which is Orchard Grove in Leven. Popular area. We've sold a few within that building. It's a beautiful building. It's in gorgeous grounds, and it is a popular one. So you do need to act fast, and you need to keep a lookout for Perry's pre-portal. But this particular one is a 2-bedroom apartment. Then, keeping it within the area, you are going slightly along to London Links, and this particular property is Victoria Road, and it's a 3-bedroom ground floor apartment. So if obviously you're looking for that bungalow and you're not finding one, then perhaps a ground floor apartment with that 1 level living could be your next option. So do consider that. Next one is Orchard Flat in Auchtermuchty. Now, this one is a couple of weeks away from being finished. However, it just means I'm preparing you for it and getting you ready for it. It's a 3-bedroom ground floor flat. However, you would not think that you are standing in the ground floor flat because it's such a big footprint. It's over 100 square meters. It's got your own private garden that is really extensive, and it goes a lot further back than what you're actually expecting. You've got a driveway. You've got a completely secure, enclosed, fully powered workshop cum garage, while being really well presented. And obviously it's a village lifestyle, so this one is going to be popular. It's a 3-bedroom ground floor flat. Next property is Wade Terraced in Anstruther. This one is a 7-bedroom detached house. I cannot wait for you to see this one. It is beautifully presented. It's an ideal family home. If you're perhaps looking to bring your families together, this could actually be the perfect option for you, because you actually feel like, so the bedrooms aren't all on the 1 level and all together. They're actually spread out across the property in almost 2 separate wings, if you like. So it's 7 bedrooms. It's a brilliant family home, beautifully presented. You've got beautifully landscaped gardens. It's completely private. Like, you wouldn't actually think you're at the end of a street. Like, it's so private. You've got an extensive driveway. You've got a double garage. Like, it is just a fantastic family home. Next one is High Street in Strathmiglo. This one is a 2-bedroom terrace property, beautifully presented. But what's great with this one is, yes, it's 2 bedrooms, one of which is on the ground floor. So if you are looking for that 1 level living, this could be an option for you. So if you're looking to stay within Strathmiglo or move to Strathmiglo and you're looking for 1 level living, this one could be the one for you, because you've got a bedroom and a bathroom on the ground level. You then have a further bedroom on the next level, but actually what's even better with this property is the attic has been converted. While we can't class it as a bedroom due to head height, it does actually have a double bed in there. It's got 2 Velux windows, it's got a working from home space, and you've got views across the Lomond Hills. So it's absolutely stunning. Great one that you could obviously consider. So keep a lookout for that one. Next one is West Park Avenue in Leslie. It's a 2-bedroom terraced house. Leslie, desirable area again. You're close to Glenrothes, you're close to commuting links. You can be on the M90 for Perth, Dundee, and Edinburgh. You've got close to Kinross for beautiful walks. It's got all of its amenities within Leslie, so it is a popular one. And then finally, another one in London Links is Emsdorf Street, and this is a 1-bedroom ground floor flat. So again, if you are looking for one level living and you want to be within the London Links area, that's 2 potential properties that could actually suit you. So get yourself ready, call the office, get yourself registered. We can then start matching you with properties. And likewise, make sure you're looking out on our Facebook pages for the pre-portals. So that is a full video walkthrough. So if you're new or you're not too sure what this is, I've just given you an insight of the properties that are going to be coming at pre-portal stage. Now, a pre-portal video is a full video walkthrough. It's almost like your virtual viewing, and it gives you a great insight into the property. So the agent stands outside, shows you the locality, the location, exactly where you're situated. You then head inside, you get a full video walkthrough of the property, seeing all the little nitty-gritty details. We then show you the outdoor space if there is any, and then we talk you through location and what you have close by. And then at the end, we tell you the price point, and it's to see if it's a property that ticks your boxes and suits your needs. If it does, you reach out to us. If you're in a position to proceed, and what we mean by that is you're a cash buyer, so perhaps you're a cash buyer with nothing to sell, or perhaps you've already sold and you've got cash in the bank, but we are looking for cash buyers that are ready to view that property and make an offer before it goes to your Rightmove and your Zoopla and your S1 Home. So it's your opportunity to get in there before anybody else. Obviously, if you're watching this or you're watching a pre-portal and you perhaps don't fit that criteria because you perhaps have a property to sell, or perhaps you're on the market and not yet sold, still reach out to us. We can get you registered. We can put you on the viewing list. And if obviously an offer isn't accepted at pre-portal stage, we can then get you through the door once the property is available. So don't just be disheartened about that. Still speak and call the office and have a wee chat with us. But a pre-portal is that opportunity to capture a property before it goes to Rightmove and Zoopla. So it needs to be your absolute no regrets offer. What can you comfortably offer that secures that property and the seller almost bites your hand off for it? Finally, completed properties. So this is properties that have gone through that conveyancing stage. It's all exchanged, missives are signed, and they are now with their new owners and the sellers have moved on. So the first one is Warwick Close in Lucas. And this was actually an interesting one because we actually sold it to the sellers who have sold it again through us. So we've actually been with that property for quite a while now, and we've seen it through its different stages. Obviously, Lucas is a desirable area, proximity to St Andrews, to Dundee, and you've got the train station within Lucas, but it's a 3-bedroom, spacious, mid-terrace property. It was in moving condition, ready to go. And what was great is you had an enclosed garden and actually a garage that you weren't expecting to get with this property. So it actually sold for 1,607,500. So the new family are actually upsizing, and actually it was lovely to see. So I did the initial viewing with the family, and they're actually coming out of rented and they're getting on the property market. So it was great to see obviously them in their next steps of their journey. Likewise, we were able to help the seller, and actually we were with them right from when they purchased it from us. They've been in the property and then they've sold it with us. So that was actually a really nice one. And we've been with them through the whole journey. And as I say, that sold for 167,500. Next one in a different location, heading to the East Nook, is James Street in Sellardyke. So this one was a charming 2-bedroom, 2-reception and terraced character property. Fantastic opportunity to really add value with this one. So it means you're going in, you're getting to put your own stamp on it and know that you're adding instant value while being on a substantial plot. And there was partial sea views as well, so we're going to absolutely take it. It sold for 258,000, so 8,000 over the home report value. Obviously, this one was needed quite a lot of work. It was actually a really popular one as well when we put this one live. We did multiple viewings there. So it was great to see that one over the line. As I say, 8,000 over the home report. So the sellers are delighted because it allows them to move on with their journey. They got 8,000 over home report because they were fully aware of the work that was required within the property. And the buyers are absolutely delighted because they are moving to the area, and what a fantastic area to move to. And of course, they're putting their own stamp on it. Plus, I can imagine the street and obviously the community are going to be delighted to see that property being used to its full potential as well. So that is great to see. Next one is Kirkland Walk in Methil. So this was an investment opportunity. So it was a 3-bedroom ground floor apartment with the opportunity to add value. Great with this property, it's ground floor, so you did have the option for 1 level living. So that's going to be great, obviously, for that investor to use moving forward. It had off-street parking, it had a front garden, it had a rear garden, and there was actually some countryside views as well. So it was the perfect flat that really did tick all the boxes. This one sold for home report value at 55,000, and that obviously the buyers are delighted that they can obviously get into there, put their own stamp on it, and add instant value. And then finally, Hill Street at Strathmiglo. So this one was a 3-bedroom cottage, heart of Strathmiglo. And actually, what's great about Hill Street is you go along Cashviews and you just nip up, and it's a dead end road. So you're literally tucked on a really private road. You do have partial countryside views as well. And it was sold for 255,000. It was an immaculate property. It was newly renovated, so beautifully presented, while getting that countryside feel in the cottage, while being in that idyllic lifestyle. So that was a fantastic one to get over the line. So that is all of activity that we had within Fife Properties last week. And before we wrap up, we're going to do a run through of the shows that took place. So you have the Wealth Creation Show, of course, every Monday, 12:30. You've got Richard Cook, the Lettings Director, and Jim Parker, one of the UK's most successful property investors. They every Monday at 12:30 go live and do a show, and it's a wealth creation show. Now, if you weren't able to watch this live, that's not a problem at all. You can still access it, or you can even click the link and read the blog if you prefer. But this is where they do a new topic every week, and this week's topic was reflecting on your future. And reflecting on your future involves considering potential paths, setting goals, and adapting to those changing circumstances, because things do change and sometimes you do get obstacles. It's just how you manage them and how you deal with them. And it's probably a process of being self-aware and strategic planning that can lead to personal and professional growth. By reflecting on past experiences and also potential future scenarios, you can make more informed and prudent decisions. Now, this process helps you identify perhaps pitfalls and opportunities, which then lead to better choices. So this is where you've got, as I say, Richard and Jim. They were on hand discussing this live yesterday. So if that sounds like something that would appeal to you, go back and watch the show. And if there is anything, if you have any questions or if you have anything that you would like to share with them, put it in the comments. They would love to hear from you, and they will still come back to you, even though it's not live anymore, because you can watch the rerun. So that was one of them. And then another show that took place last week was Perry and I did a show about, would you like to get a 26 times return on your £1,000 upgrade? So this is where Perry and we did a show on how investing and just adding that £1,000 to your property in the process of going to market could actually get you a 26 times return. And we actually had a real life case study in that about a client that we had that did just that. She invested just over £1,000 into her property before taking it to market, and the return that she got on that was 26 times. There was a brilliant result in there. Within this, you can either click the link to read the blog, you can watch the show. Likewise, if you have a scenario like that, then reach out to us, pick up the phone, or if perhaps you're in that limbo where you're thinking of selling, there's perhaps jobs to do, or your property needs a wee bit of work, and you're at that stage of, do I invest right now? Do I finish the jobs, or do I even start the jobs? Or do I just sell as it is? What is the difference here in terms of value? That is what we are here for. Pick up the phone. Myself or Perry can come out and see you. We can then discuss with you your value as is if you were to take it to market in current condition, or we can give you an insight as if you were to do the jobs of X, Y, and Z, what that could potentially do for you. So if that is something you would like advice on, pick up the phone, reach out to us, and we're more than happy to come and do a walkthrough. And we might just surprise you. We might actually be able to tell you right off the bat, it's actually worth a lot more as it stands, or actually if you do X, Y, and Z, this is the value that it could add. So we will absolutely do that for you. And then a final show was, we had Jim Parker, myself, and Perry on hand discussing autumn advantages and the 5 gold selling secrets of a perhaps underrated season, because autumn does tend to get a bad rap for selling your home. It's almost been overcast by the kind of sunshine in the summer. Obviously, you had spring where it was full blossom and full blooms, and then people kind of feel festive and magic and all cozy for winter. So autumn seems to be the one that gets forgotten about, and often underrated, but actually how do you use that to your advantage to get your property on the market, get it seen and get it sold? And it's actually about being in pole position, especially for buyers out there as well. So that is a great one. So if you are thinking of selling, or even if in your head you'll think I'm going to sell in the new year, or I want to move in the new year, now is when you need to be going to market. So that is a great show for you to watch. You have all three of us on hand discussing, we're giving you hints and tips. Likewise as well, we always like to hear your hints and tips. So do watch that show and you can give us yours. Likewise, you can click the link in it as well and you can give it a watch. But that is the shows that took place last week. We have more shows coming for you this week. But obviously, in the meantime, if there is any questions or anything you would like to know, then you can reach out to us and speak with us. But that is it for another week. So that has been the run through for the 17th to the 23rd. As I say, next week's show, I will do the exact same again, but we're going to do a run through of the monthly figures. So we will look at August as a whole. I'll also compare it to July so that you can see, okay, this is July's figures, this is August figures. What does this perhaps mean as a trend? And that'll perhaps give you a great insight. So do watch that next week. If you've watched this and you have any questions, as I say, put them in the comments. Message us privately if you prefer, or you can pick up the phone and speak with somebody in the office. But until next Tuesday, have a great week, and I will see you throughout the week with further shows. All the best. Take care.